Happy Halloween, everyone. I got this out on time, hopefully. So, for a little Halloween treat, I would like to go over Possession. Possession was written and directed by Andrei Zulawski. It stars Sam Neill as Mark and Isabelle Adani as Anna. The 1983 film is an absolute masterpiece, exploring themes of divorce, division, and the physical/mental form of possession. The film is more of a romantic drama until around the end, when it really reveals what Anna was up to during the entire movie. So, before I get into my interpretations and what I thought about it, I should probably give a little recap. Possession starts with Mark returning from a work trip, which the audience can assume was kind of an espionage spy thing just by a couple scenes later. But upon his return, the audience is immediately thrown into a very tense argument that was happening off screen before the start of the film. As things progress, we see Anna go in and out of Mark's apartment, never staying there for too long. Mark then disappears for roughly 3 weeks, which we can only assume was from a drug bender, and his actions start to drive Mark crazy as he is also trying to figure out why she has left him. We figure out that she was sleeping with another man. Because of this in and out that Anna's doing, Mark has to now take their son Bob to school. As he takes him to school, he sees his teacher, Helen, who looks exactly like Anna, like a carbon copy. The only difference is that she has green eyes, and she is the perfect version of her. She is nurturing, loving, and caring. Things that we don't see in Anna as the film progresses. We're then introduced to the man that Anna was having an affair with. His name was Heinrich, who was played by Heinz Bennett. We learn that Anna is attracted to Heinrich because of his spirit, his freedom, and willingness to explore, which the opposite is what made Anna go away from Mark. He is a very traditional family value man that wants nothing but structure and the status quo. Mark eventually hires a PI who then finds where Anna's living, and as he figures out what Anna's doing in there, having sex with a monster, she kills him. This then leads to a lot of other things, but eventually another PI goes to look for the dead PI, sees the monster, and Anna kills them. Mark eventually goes and looks in the apartment and doesn't see the monster, but sees all the dead bodies. That leads to him at some point calling Heinrich over as he investigates the place. Anna is there and she tries to kill him. Heinrich then discusses everything with Mark, but Mark kills Heinrich and then explodes the building Anna was staying in to kind of like cover up her tracks. After this, Mark heads home just to find one of his old romances with her throat cut. He takes her upstairs and puts her in the bathroom and then is confronted by Anna. After this, Mark then finds Anna in another decrepit apartment having sex with the monster again, and he's freaking out. You can see that he has no idea what's going on. But as this is happening, Anna is telling him to wait, it's almost done, and he then suddenly has a very understanding look in his eyes. He doesn't know what's happening, but he understands that it's what Anna needs. Eventually, this all accumulates to the big ending, where we are shown that the monster that Anna was sculpting and having sex with is Mark himself. It is a copy of Mark, who seems very evil, but I don't know if he is. It's up for interpretation, which we'll get into. Now, I feel like I botched that summary, but at the same time, I set a good ground for y'all to understand what I'm going to talk about. And of course, there are going to be a lot of scenes that weren't in that summary that I will be discussing. Let's start with something simple, which is the setting. The film takes place in Berlin during the 70s. The choice to film Possession in this location during such a political unrest is a statement within itself. We can look at the film with a political lens if we want to, as much as we can look at it with a romantic lens. The film has a lot of shots by the Berlin Wall, sending out the message and themes of divorce, tension, and violence. In this West Berlin setting, we see two main apartments. The well-put-together and clean apartment of Mark juxtaposed with the run-down and dirty apartment Anna resides in with the monster. These two opposite locations really hammer home the difference in Mark's and Anna's thinking. Mark's apartment represents stability, control, and structure, all things that he believes in deeply. While Anna's apartment and the tendency to go back and forth shows her physical emotions of not really knowing what to do. Throughout the film, Mark desperately tries to get answers from Anna, but every time she gives him an answer, it's just I don't know or I can't explain. Within these settings, the blocking of the character, the camera angles, and all the movements with it all tell the same story. Only difference is that now we can hear, see, and feel those emotions played out. In Mark's apartment, we got a lot of shots like this, where Mark and Anna are talking, but the layout of the apartment and positioning of the camera shows a clear divide and misunderstanding towards each other. Now, since I'm starting to move away from the setting specifically, I want to start talking about characters. Starting off with Mark, played by Sam Neill, this is a man that wants structure and embraces tradition. Mark is a great character to look at when we try to interpret the title Possession, as we know that he isn't the possessed one in this film. However, knowingly or not, he is very possessive towards Anna. He spends most of the film not just trying to control Anna, but most of his surroundings and the chaos that's happening. I would like to say that a lot of the time Mark didn't know what he was doing. This film is about divorce and the emotions that happen after that. There are things that we don't even realize we do, and this is a man that is doing whatever he can to try to keep the status quo, keep everything as normal and structured as it once was, especially after such a long work trip. For so much of Possession, Mark has no clue about the situation with Anna. His jealousy enrages him from the fact that he thinks she's having an affair with Heinrich still, and the lack of care for their son from Anna is another factor that really makes him mad. During the film, there seems to be a part where he kinda accepts that Anna is gone, but it's questionable because he's also spending more time with Helen. He is starting to grow romantic feelings towards her, which is something to say within itself, since Helen is almost the exact copy of Anna, just emotions and feelings are different. When Mark finally discovers what Anna is doing, we see him desperately trying to cover up her tracks and protect her. This in itself can kind of seem possessive. I say that because it seems as if he's not allowing her to do her own thing and erasing her past for something he did. On the other hand, I can see this as Mark relapsing on his love for Anna or love for structure. Either way, he knows how much of what Anna is doing it can hurt her, so he cleans up her mess for her and still tries to lay by her side. Mark is troubled, confused, and questionably in the wrong for his overbearing actions. Moving on to Anna, who is played by Isabelle Adjani.
I'm afraid you...
Oh, come on, don't be so...
Miss, it doesn't make any sense.
From the very start of the film, the first confrontation with Mark is full of confusion and anxiety from this character. Anna doesn't know if what exactly she's doing is right, but she knows that she feels she has to do it. She's a character trying to run free, but is trapped at the same time by this overbearing weight of some emotion she can't explain. Anna is most definitely the possessed one in this film, and I mean that demonically. Anna has a lot of hate and spite. Anger seems to fuel her at some times, and through context clues, she wasn't necessarily always like this until something possessed her. In the film, it's a demon, but in the script, it's up for interpretation. Anna's possession represents, in my interpretation, any emotion that can lead to evil or harm. Hatred, anger, anxiety, and lust. All emotions that sometimes we ourselves don't understand until the famous subway scene. This is an incredible scene, and we will get into it later. But much like the subway, where this metaphorical demon blood soup is spewing from Anna, representing the birth of those emotions, this leads directly into why Anna is now nurturing the demon / sack of emotions. This leads directly into why Anna is nurturing and protecting this weird sack of demon blood, and that within itself has many interpretations. One thing I believe is that we, as people, without realizing it, go through times where we nurture bad feelings. We nurture the negative emotions within us. We prop them up not knowing why, but just knowing that what we're doing has a purpose in the end, which eventually leads to her, Anna, revealing she has been creating and sculpting a doppelganger of Mark. I see this as Anna loved the looks and idea of Mark, but not him as a person, or at least the flaws he has as a person, which, if you remember, is what Helen represents to Mark. All the beauty and comfort of Anna with all the flaws removed. I really love how this film shows and introduces the audience to those themes, and I want to talk about some scenes specifically from the film that I believe really show those emotions instead of just telling. First off, I'd like to start with a scene that I really enjoyed where Mark is rocking back and forth as the camera pushes and pulls in the focus. Mark isn't rocking, but he's violently rocking, going back and forth to the point where it looks like the chair might almost tip over. I love the use of this, and I love the use of the out of focus and in focus as he's going back and forth. The scene takes place during a tense moment where Mark finds his son home alone, and he finally decides that he's going to put his foot down and take back what he wants. The whole scene in general really shows his possessiveness towards things being the way he wants them to be. And his rocking back and forth shows his, not even that he's thinking, but that he has made up his mind, it's set, and he is waiting to put down the hand. Another scene that I find absolutely fantastic is one where Mark and Anna are arguing in the kitchen. There are a lot of great camera angles of the whole kitchen, and then just Anna under the tool she's using. She's grabbing some meat in an electric knife or carver to carve some of the meat, and then she's putting it in a meat grinder. And that's all happening while Anna and Mark are having this huge screaming match. And during the entire time, I was tensed up thinking that something bad was going to happen, but nothing did until the very end of the argument where Anna cuts herself in the neck with the carver, and Mark quickly tries to help her and cover up, and she survives. But then Mark goes into the kitchen and he kind of cuts himself too. Another beloved part of this film is the infamous subway scene, where Anna seems to be releasing all of these demons and feelings from her body that she might not even know she had. I talked more about what I feel about this scene when we discussed Anna's character, but just the performance and focus with the camera makes the scene amazing. I read somewhere that the actress gave such an amazing performance, the director forgot to give directions while he was filming. The only thing he said before the camera was rolling was, "Act like you're fucking the air." There is this scene where Mark finds out that Anna left, and he starts to freak out, and he goes in his room, and he's looking for things to find Anna or find proof that she's cheating on him. And as he goes in the room, the camera kind of goes low, mid-low, kind of. I'm very bad at describing this, but then it spins around him, which, like I said earlier, the camera work really shows the emotion in this film. Last but not least, my interpretation of the monster. I believe that the monster is 100% the one possessing Anna in the film, both before and after its literal and metaphorical birth. I probably sound repetitive since I said this when speaking about Anna's character, but I truly believe as humans, we do not understand our own emotions. Even though we feel that we know ourselves and our emotions now, who's to say that a year from now or 2 years from now, we won't know who we are or what we want? I do believe that the monster is the birth of all these scary and confusing emotions, and as humans with little monkey brains, we don't always know what to do with them. And most of the time, instead of expelling them or finding ourselves and figuring out what those emotions mean, we nurture those emotions and we mold them. I'm really stuck between interpretations of the ending with the monster. On one hand, we can say that all along she knew she wanted Mark, just not the current version of him, so she sculpted a better one not just for her, but for them. On the other hand, I can say that maybe she didn't know what she was molding, just that she was modeling it, and there was a purpose. While trying to find herself by herself, she still ended up falling to the arms of Mark, who might be a totally different person, but that doesn't mean that the situation will end differently. I think that is exactly what the very last scene of the film is about. Or maybe the monster came out as Mark because all the emotions she had were caused by Mark, thus the demon being modeled after Mark. I really don't know, but I think everyone should go watch this and create their own interpretations, as I think everyone can get something different out of this film. Now, the quick lightning bonus round. I also watched Sinners. I thought it was good. Very well shot, competent film. The cinematography was great. The lighting and colors were amazing. That scene where the barn was burning down was beautiful. And I was really getting into it and everything the film had to say until the vampires came in. The vampires of Sinners kind of ruined it. I didn't like that third act. Once that third act kind of started and we lead to the whole barn fight scene, I felt like it was very rushed, but also stretched out too long at the same time. That's all I have to say about it, really. I think I gave it a 3.5, and I gave Possession a 5 out of 5.